Now, this problem states that Steve had a certain amount of iPhones. He sold Mark 8 of them. If the 8 that he sold Mark was a quarter of the total amount he had originally, we are now asked to use equivalent fractions to find the total amount of iPhones Steve had at the start. So here we are given a situation and we're asked to use equivalent fractions to solve the problem. Okay, first we're going to look at it just quickly how we work it out, and then maybe just make a connection to a diagram just to show you the concept behind it again. Okay, reinforce the concepts. Now basically when working with equivalent fractions, the first thing that we should identify is the simplest fraction. So let's go through this problem to see if we can find the simplest fraction. Now if he had a certain amount of iPhones, therefore we don't know the total amount he had. That's what we're trying to find. But it states here that if the 8 that he gave away was the 8 that he gave to Mark was a quarter, so we know that he gave a quarter away to Mark, and that must be equal to something over the total amount. Okay, now the amount that he gave away, that something, is 8, so we know that in the numerator we should have a 8 because this is the amount we're speaking about. However, we don't know the amount, so I'm going to use a question mark here because we don't know the amount that he had, the total amount he had at the start. And from here this should be pretty easy because again I can do a little workings here on the side to suggest, oops, let me just change my color. So I'm going to have my workings here on the side, and that's my workings. Now basically again what I'm asking myself, I have 1 over 4 and that must be equal to 8 over some number. So I'm going to ask myself, what do I multiply by 1 to get to 8? And obviously that would be 8. 8 times 1 will give me 8. So therefore whatsoever I multiply the top by, I must multiply the bottom by the same amount. So 4 eighths would give me 32. So as easy as that, we have found the amount that he had. So the total amount of iPhones that Steve had at the start, it would be obviously it would be 32. So therefore we can now state then that a quarter is equal to 8 over 32. So therefore Steve had 32 iPhones at the start. Okay, this is the total amount of iPhones he had at the beginning. Now it's that easy, and if you're still not clear, you could always look at it on a diagram to make it a bit clearer for you. Now basically he gave away 8. Okay, so if Steve gave away 8, then it simply means then, and that 8, okay, is a quarter of the total amount, then it simply means then that the whole must be divided into 4 equal parts, as we have here, 1 2 3 4. So if he gave away a quarter and a quarter is 8, then it simply means then that in each part we should have 8 iPhones. Okay, 8 iPhones. So from here, and let me use another color, so from here to here to this distance here, I would have 8 plus 8, which is 16, and 16 plus 8 is 24, and 24 plus 8 is 32. But it said that he gave away only a quarter. So if we have 4 equal parts here, then 1 out of 4 must be a quarter. So he would have given away 1 out of 4. And if you notice, the amount that he gave away would be 8, which is 8. Okay, so it's really that easy. Looking at it from a diagram perspective. If you still not clear on what is happening here. All right, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them, ask your questions, or even rate the video if it has helped you in any way. Okay, bye bye.